Okay, what we have here is failure to communicate. And what I mean by that is when you flip this shifter back and forth here, it no do nothing. So we have a failure between this and the shift drum inside here. This is actually the left side if you were sitting on the machine. So your shifter's here, your exhaust port comes out the front. So I'm going to take these bolts out and take this cover off and have a look in there and see if I can't find the problem. Now he said that it was getting hard to shift and he forced it, trying to shift it into another gear. I don't know if he's downshifting or upshifting, but he tried to force it, and when he forced it, it popped and now it's stuck in second gear. So I'm thinking there's probably something going on with the clutch, which could very well be sticking clutch, or clutch is out of adjustment, or something's going on causing the gears to bind up, because this is semi-automatic, so therefore you have to let off of the throttle to shift it. So if the clutch wasn't disengaging, then it would make it really hard to shift. So I'm looking at either a clutch malfunction or maybe a shift drum malfunction. I may end up having to tear this thing completely down, split the case, pull the transmission apart, look at the shift drum. I don't know how far I'm going to get with that. I may find a problem and it may be accessible underneath this cover. So we'll see where it goes. Alright, there's 10 millimeters. I'm going to go ahead and use my 1/4 inch drive air ratchet. Long bolt, it goes in to the side where the oil filter housing is. Long bolt. The rest of these are all the same. So far, we'll see. Another long bolt at the bottom here. Oh, gotta make sure you remove the dipstick. Don't go forcing on this thing and bend your dipstick, that would be bad. Okay, get that removed. Okay, this little piece popped out, little ball bearing set. It sits right in here against this. Like that. I'll set that whole assembly to the side here. And it rides on this piece. This is the play adjuster right here. We'll set this cover aside here. We'll have a look at what's going on inside. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to take this oil tube off. Let me get you in frame here. This oil tube, there's a bolt there and a bolt right there, so we got to take both these bolts out. I actually didn't have to take it all the way out. I just loosened it and this just moved out of the way. Now I can pop that loose. There's an O-ring. There's the oil tube. Actuate the shifter. If I turn this, that turns. This piece, that's broken. It connects here. And then when you rotate this, it moves this one way or the other. This is connected to the shift drum. So without this piece here moving this back and forth, it will not shift. So it looks like it may just be just this piece here that's damaged. Maybe I can get this spring out of here. Oh, the broken piece just dropped out. I have to make sure we collect that. Let me grab a screwdriver. Spring out. Get my magnet here, recover the broken piece. There it is. Okay, so there's the broken piece there. So that's what the issue is. This can't engage the shift drum. Okay, so that looks like it's a relatively easy fix. So I'm going to order a part and put that back in, and then I'm going to run it through the gears and just see if that was all that was wrong with it. Now, just so you understand how a semi-automatic works, is there's a series of weights in here. If you ever taken a chainsaw bar and chain off, you see the sprocket that the chain hooks to on the engine side, and if you pull that off, there's a clutch. It's just weights that are spring loaded, and as it spins, they centrifugally, however you want to say it, swing out, and then it grabs traction against the outer ring here. So as the engine's turning, it pushes these out against this ring this ring drives everything else. So when you let off the gas and it's just idling, the idle speed isn't enough for this to engage here. And then as you increase the RPMs, these swing out and engage this, and that gives you your drive. And that's how that works. Alright, so I got my part in for the shifter on the Honda Rancher. This is a Honda part. There's the part number. Alright, so we can get the part on. Here's the new part. Here's the old part. You can kind of see what's broke off of that. So we can get the spring in. Okay, like that. This piece slips on. I'll have to move the camera a little bit to clear the shifter here. Alright. Now I should be able to shift. I think it's slipping on the shifter splines. I'm going to tighten this bolt up. Alright. Now I should be able to shift. Okay, that should be neutral. That should be first. Yep. Shaft is turning. Should be third. Fourth. Yep. Fifth. Fifth, fourth, third, second, first, neutral, neutral. Okay, to reassemble the rest of the shifter mechanism here, we got this collar. It goes in like this. Put the lip side up so it catches. Then there's a bearing. It goes in here. Inside that cup. Okay, now there's this lever. It goes on the shaft. And there's a washer. It's got a rounded side that goes up. Okay, now you got this fork. This part goes down into the bearing. Now you have this ball bearing cam. Goes in here with the spring. There's a spring on there. It goes up. And what this does is when this is held in place by the side cover, this bearing here, and you shift, this depresses on the clutch and that way it disengages the clutch. Like basically when you, like if it was a manual, you would squeeze the clutch. This does it for you when you go to shift, so it disengages the clutch so there's no drive pressure as you shift. Now the oil tube. Seat it down in the O-rings. Just move this retainer bracket over. Bolt in this end. So as I move the shifter, you can see it moves this cam. This depresses these springs, which disengages the clutch. This is the other end of that. This is what you're adjusting. This thing has to go to, it's got to go into neutral to shift. So it uses this clutch. This centrifugal clutch is what transmits your power into this. So as the RPMs come up, this engages, turns this. But as you're moving, this is what allows you to shift without a clutch. This engages the clutch as you shift. Okay, and set the cover on. Align this with that. Give it a little twist. Rock it down. I think the issue with this is why it was so hard to shift and why he ended up breaking that part is because of this adjustment. Let's spray a little bit of lube on this. Okay, to adjust the clutch on the Honda Rancher, you need a 14mm wrench and a flat screwdriver. Say it's when you shift, it's really stiff and it's hard to shift. Maybe it kind of jumps in between gears real hard. Feels like it's binding. You may need to adjust this. So how you do this is you break this loose. Okay, and you get it, if you have it in neutral, all the way down. Hold up on the shifter slightly, and then back this screw out. And you'll start feeling some resistance, and it'll start moving the shifter down. Just keep turning it and keep putting pressure on the shifter until it stops. Right there. If you want less pressure, turn it in just a little bit. hold the screw and tighten the nut. Not super tight, just snug it. That's all it needs.